Take time, respect our identity, which is the flag of the Republic of South Africa. Hashtag I am the flag. With the flag, we're asking everyone to respect it, to hoist it with respect, because it is our pride. It symbolizes patriotism in South Africa. We need to promote it amongst all and sundry in our country. We chose the theme, Liberators for Reconciliation, because our leaders, when the time called for them to fight against colonialism and apartheid, they fought against such. They had to take up arms and fight for our own freedom and liberation. And when it was the time to get everybody together in peace and harmony through reconciliation, they led the way. Today it is important, especially because His Excellency the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Ramaphosa, is going to give us the message as I call him to the podium. He's going to give us the message. This is his maiden speech on reconciliation. It's very important to hear this very maiden speech, not from a maiden, but from the President of the Republic of South Africa. Halala Eastern Cape, halala. Halala OR Tambo District, halala. Molweni. Sanbonan. Dumelan. Abishin. Demasiare. Ndiyavuya ukuba lapha, Premier of the Eastern Cape, Premier Maswale, having started with the Program Director, Dikahlele Kukumkani, and other traditional leaders, Minister of Arts and Culture, Minister Nathi Mthethwa, ministers who are also here and deputy ministers, members of parliament, speakers of both the legislature and municipalities and MECs, the executive mayor of OR Tambo District Municipality, Councillor Nomakosa Zanameth, and executive mayor of King Sabata Dalinjebo local municipality, Councillor Dumani Mzozo, members of the community, and fellow South Africans. Let me start off by expressing my joy and pleasure to be here, even as Minister Mthethwa is provoking me and saying this is my maiden December 16th Reconciliation Day speech. I'd like to first of all thank Minister Mthethwa for displaying the biggest South African flag I have ever seen. Thank you very much, Minister Mthethwa. I have often said, as he did, that the flag of our country is the most beautiful flag in the whole world. Even as one goes around the world and looks at the number of flags, there is no flag that gets close to our own flag. There is no flag that is as simply beautiful like the South African flag. So this flag is the repository of our identity, of our nationhood, and of who we are as South Africans. And I've often said that this flag must be displayed all over the country, not only on government buildings and inside government buildings, but also on top of the buildings of corporates and all over, because it is the flag that really identifies who we are, and it is also a flag that came about in 1994, which clearly demonstrated our departure as a country from our horrible past. So long may it last, Minister Mthethwa, that we should see this flag being displayed throughout the country. It is most fitting that this year we should commemorate the Day of Reconciliation here in the Eastern Cape, the birthplace of two of South Africa's greatest leaders, Utata Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela and Umama Albertina Nontsikelelo Sisulu. It was here that they were born 100 years ago,
And it was here, in this part of our beautiful country, where they spent their formative years, where their spirits were nourished, where the seeds of their political conscience were also sown. It is 5 years almost to the day since we laid Utatu Madiba to rest nearby Kunu. The people of this great province, the Eastern Cape, the province of legends. Ningalibali kaloku ukuthi you are a province of legends. The people of this province should take pride in counting these two giants of the struggle of our liberation as their own. Utatu Madiba and Nomama Sisulu joined the liberation struggle to advance the cause of the oppressed majority, but they were committed also to the ideal of a united nation with equal rights for all the people of this country. They were activists and fighters. They were also peacemakers. But more importantly, they were also unifiers and bridge builders between the races that make up the South African nation. Mamu Sisulu was part of the drafting team of the Freedom Charter that was adopted in Kliptown in 1955. On this day of reconciliation, we recall the opening words of the Freedom Charter, which says, open quotes, "We, the people of South Africa, declare for all our country and the world to know that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white," close quotes. In observing this day, Reconciliation Day, we do not look only at our apartheid past, but to the legacy of centuries of historical injustice. In doing so, we also acknowledge that this day has in the past held different meanings for different South Africans. To some, they regarded it as the Battle of Blood River, which took place almost exactly 180 years ago in 1838. To some, this was an important moment of triumph and a confirmation of what they regarded as God's special protection of the Voortrekkers. To others, the killing of over 3,000 Zulu warriors at the Ngome River represents a dark day when the native people of South Africa were brutally crushed and their land was taken away at the barrel of the gun. It was also the day in 1961 on which the formation of Umkhonto weSizwe, the People's Army, was announced. With the dawn of democracy, the day of the vow to some and Heroes' Day to others became the day of reconciliation for all of us. So we have been able, around this historic day, a day when the Voortrekkers decided that they are going to take their revenge against the Zulu nation, a day when also the African National Congress launched its its Umkhonto weSizwe, and a day that we later said should be regarded as Heroes' Day, that we should combine all this and say this is a day for reconciliation, a day on which we should reconcile amongst each other. This was not only a name change. This reflected the acceptance by all South Africans of the values and the principles that define our democracy. It defined our democracy because our democracy was a moment when we made a choice that instead of war, we are going to choose peace. Instead of discord, we are going to choose unity. Instead of domination, we are going to choose compromise. And above all, instead of revenge, we will choose reconciliation. Now, this is a choice that we have made, and we forever had lots of choices. We could have chosen that we opt for war, and if we had chosen to opt for war, there would be no peace. And if we had opted that we will have revenge, then there would be no reconciliation and no peace at all. We knew that if we were to build a new nation, we could not go down the dark and destructive path of vengeance and retribution. We also knew that without redress, there can be no equality as well. We also know that without justice, there can be no peace. So long as millions of South Africans are burdened by poverty and underdevelopment, so long as they are still so poor that their children are stunted and the prospects for a better life are absent, we will not have achieved our goal for justice, for peace, and a better life. So this day of reconciliation should therefore be seen as a day on which we reaffirm our commitment to eradicate poverty, hunger, homelessness, and unemployment. We should not just see it as a day when we just talk glibly about reconciliation without giving content to what that reconciliation means. We cannot be a reconciled nation for as long as the majority of the people of South Africa continue to suffer from the injustices of the past. This means that we all need to be part of the effort to promote the growth and development of all of us, to achieve inclusive growth, to improve the conditions of the poor, and to create employment on a massive scale. We all need to be committed to fundamental economic transformation in whatever we can and in whatever we do and wherever we are, so that we can indeed achieve this radical economic transformation that is necessary if we are indeed to be properly and fully reconciled. We need to pursue with greater effort an inclusive economy by improving the skills of our young people. Part of building an inclusive economy means that we've got to do things that are real, things that people can see. It means that we've got to ensure that there is meaningful participation of black people in the economy of our country. We should ensure that this radical economic transformation that we are talking about is implemented without any fail. As part of advancing the economic empowerment of our people, we will continue to work also to improve a number of things that we have to do to improve the lives of South Africans. One of the key ones being improving education in our schools, because it is through improving education that we will be able to lay a firm foundation of ensuring that indeed the growth that we yearn for at an economic level does indeed happen. We also need to massively expand early childhood development, because improving the prospects of young people at an early age, at the early childhood level, means that we are laying a firm foundation for our children to have a better chance in the future. We have seen a great deal of development in this regard, where there are now throughout the country well over 1 million young people who are now in early childhood development centers throughout the land. We are continuing to invest significantly in vocational training, and we are working to ensure that students from poor families can access higher education. Reconciliation that we are commemorating today on Reconciliation Day means that all young South Africans need to have what they will see as equal opportunities to pursue their chosen course of study, to live where they please, to find meaningful employment, and to live in conditions of comfort and safety. One of the other areas that is crucial to reconciliation is the just and equitable resolution of the land question. It was the battle for control over land that saw the two armies square off at the Ngome River nearly 2 centuries ago. And it was the battle over land that here in the Eastern Cape, wars were fought over a long period, where our forebears engaged in battle, engaged in wars to defend the people of our country, but also to defend the dispossession of the land. It is land, therefore, that has fueled colonial contests across the world, and it continues to play a role in many modern conflicts. The equitable distribution of land has been a constant call for the overwhelming majority of South Africans. Access to land is a fundamental right of citizenship. It does not just empower communities and workers. It enhances food security, especially for people in the rural areas. It enables people to gain and develop productive assets and to participate more meaningfully in the economy of their country. Land reform is therefore part and parcel of the whole project of nation building. It is key to furthering reconciliation in our country and is central to eliminating inequality in society. Far from being a measure that will fuel tensions or set race relations back or fuel tension between the races in our country, accelerated land reform has the potential to improve goodwill between the people of our country. Despite a comprehensive land reform program, we have not made significant progress in addressing this issue. Most of the country's land remains in the hands of a few people in our country. On this day, we have dedicated that we are going to promote reconciliation, but we must consider that failure to resolve the land issue in a just and equitable manner will threaten the stability of our democratic nation. As we intensify this work of land reform, of making sure that the land is distributed equitably to our people, we can nevertheless point to several areas of progress. There are examples that show that when land reform is implemented correctly and with the provision of the right support to new landowners, land restitution does have significant social and economic benefits. Earlier today, I had the occasion to visit an example of a successful land reform project, the Rural Agro-Industries and Finance Initiative in the O.R. Tambo District Municipality has secured international investment to enable black farmers to build successful commercial enterprises using a cooperative model. And I was told today, and I could see for myself, that they have succeeded in mobilizing a lot of money. They informed me that they have mobilized $2.1 billion to come here for investment in land. Now, our executive district mayor, Umeya Nomakosa Zanamed, as well as our premier and our mayor Uzozo, they took me to an area here where one of the most impressive land reform projects and agricultural projects is now underway. They showed me what the Eastern Cape can be best at. They showed me how the stimulus package that we announced recently, when we said we are going to deploy billions of rands to stimulate the economy, and that one of those things or initiatives we're going to focus on is on agriculture. They told me that that stimulus package has arrived here in the Eastern Cape, and it has specifically arrived here in O.R. Tambo. Now, I was most impressed when they took me to the area where it is now already developing. They have struck a partnership with people in Argentina, and we have brought machinery from Argentina to come and help us work the land. And this is land that belongs to almost 105 families here in this area. And the land is now going to be worked. We are going to produce lots of maize. We are going to produce soya beans. We're going to produce other dry beans. We're going to produce beef, and the Eastern Cape, in my view, is now going to be able to live up to the promise that it has of being the food basket of the whole country. It is going to be able to be the beef basket of our country, the bread basket of our country. I have always said that the Eastern Cape must play to its strength, and its key strength is agriculture and of course tourism. The Eastern Cape can become the best agricultural area in the whole of South Africa, and this is possible. Now in this, there are examples of private landowners who are giving long-term labor tenants title deeds to the land on which they live and work, and other organized agriculture entities are committing to hand over parts of their land. Now this is part of the land reform process that is now underway. It is this spirit that we seek to harness. It is the spirit that we want to see developed more and more throughout the country. A sense of responsibility to do what is right and what is just without waiting to be compelled to do so by law. Our Constitution places an obligation on the state to take reasonable measures to enable citizens to access land on an equitable basis. We will continue working with all South Africans in a consultative and an inclusive manner to fulfill that obligation. And we call on all stakeholders, be they organized agriculture, private landowners, workers, business people and organizations, community organizations, traditional leaders, or political parties to play a constructive role on this issue of the land. There is sufficient land in South Africa for all of us to have a piece of land so that we can work the land that our forebears bequeathed to us, by decisively bringing to an end the era of arrogance, the era of entitlement and privilege. I am sure that we can foster true reconciliation in our country, especially on this issue of the land. While most South Africans are working together to build a united, non-racial and non-sexist country, there are a few who want to take us backwards. There are some who believe that the progress that we have made is not wonderful. Bakhona abanye xa bebona ukuthi siyaqhuba siyaphambili bafuna ukusibuyisela emuva. Bakhona abanye xa bebona ukuthi izinto ziyajika nyani, izinto ziba ngcono, bafuna ukuthi sibuyele emuva. We should stand as one in condemning those who use all manner of vile names and describe black South Africans, or who also threaten to kill other people, be they white or black, or who insult others because of their faith, because of their culture, because of their language, or where they come from. We should condemn all those who do such things. Bakhona abanye apha abaphila phakathi kwethu abaspecialize nje ngokuthukana. Bona into abayaziyo ukuthuka abanye abantu. And we say down ngokuthukana down. Sifuna ukuthi ukuthukana kuphele. South Africans must deal with each other with respect. South Africans must deal with each other with dignity. Sihloniphane. Sibe ngabantu, we must be a nation of people who respect one another. We must be a nation of people who see beauty in one another. Noma umuntu akekho mhle sithi xa umjonga wena thola into enhle kuye, because we are all beautiful. Siyafana sonke, we are beautiful, and as South Africans, that's how we must look at each other. Noxa wena uzibona ukuthi umhle ukugqitha abanye abantu, uhlala wazi ukuthi bakhona abanye bahle ukugqitha nawe. So let us treat each other with the dignity that is necessary. We should stand as one, as a nation, also on another important issue. We should stand as one. Men and women in our country should stand as one in preventing violence against women and children, and condemning discrimination against people on the basis of their sexual orientation. Let that violence that is perpetrated against women and children continues to grow is a real terrible thing against us as South Africans. We must make sure that violence against women and children is brought to a stop with immediate effect. And in fact, now, as we go to the festive season, this is the time when men must demonstrate their respect and appreciation and love for the women of our country. This is the time when men must show that they are gentlemen. Sibe ngama-gentleman, sibonise ukuthi abantu besifazane omama siyabathanda nyani, that we love them to the superlative level. We are entering a period of election. Next year is going to be an election year in which the people of South Africa will exercise their hard-won right to elect a government of their choosing. In the State of the Nation address in February, we called for an active citizenry to join us as government to be part of the charge and the change that we want to see in South Africa. A new era is upon us, an era of accountability, an era of renewal, and an era of progress. Now, as we go to the elections, we want our people to reflect on these changes that have been taking place in our country. This is a new era where we should always seek to do the right things in accordance with the rule of law, always seeking to advance the common interests of the people of South Africa with integrity, with truth, and without corruption. This is the new period that we are in. We had a very difficult 9 years. 9 years that was defined by doing wrong things, defined by a number of people in our country capturing the state, doing all manner of wrong things. Sithi ngoku izinto zijikile ziyajika futhi. We really want to see change. This is a new era. It is no longer the era of state capture. It is the era of our people capturing their state. This is the time when the people of South Africa must capture the state and make the state work better for them. This is the time we are in. When we say we want active citizenry, sifuna ukuthi abantu bakuthi, they must not sit back, but hayi inkokheli izona zizasibonisa ukuthi siyaphi. We want our people to be involved. We want our people to participate. Ngoba xa singaparticipate bakhona abo abazofuna ukukapturisha lesi state. Esi state is state senu. You must capture the state and make sure that it works for you. Now I call upon our people, sisonke, as we continue kule ndlela esikuyo ngoku, because we are on a new journey, we are on a new path. Our people's hopes are high. Our people are feeling a lot better about the future of the country. Nama surveys ayenziwayo, they are demonstrating that South Africans are now hopeful about the future. South Africans are now saying the future looks bright. No kage okwangoku. Our economic situation is a difficult one. Our current economic situation is not an easy one, but nevertheless that our people are also saying the future looks brighter than yesterday, and that is where we are headed to. We want a brighter future for all our people. We want a brighter future for our children. In order for us to reach that brighter future, we must make sure that we go and register to vote. Another moment for registration. The Independent Electoral Commission is going to open another moment for registration. We appeal to parents, we appeal to all of us to make sure that the young people in our country go and register, because many of them are still not registered. So we would like to see young people coming forward to register so that they can participate in the election next year, but more importantly, to participate as active citizens to make sure that South Africa does succeed indeed. It is only through exercising this fundamental right that we have that we will be able to be truly part of a country that is well governed. We have many challenges, but these challenges, Makabane, they are not insurmountable. If we work together, we will be able to overcome these challenges. It was unity that prevented South Africa from descending into war and chaos as apartheid crumbled. It was unity that enabled us to adopt a democratic, progressive constitution. And we can still unite, and in fact we must unite to build bridges and find something and everything that unites us as a people. Let us unite to build a society that is founded on justice, on equality, and prosperity for all. Le prosperity esifunayo We want a prosperity that everyone will feel. Right now, we've got almost 10 million South Africans who are not working. Our task as a government is to make sure that we create jobs for the many millions of South Africans who are not employed right now. This is a task that we are preoccupied with day and night in government. Earlier this year, we convened an investment conference which brought together business people from South Africa and internationally. And we told them the South African story. We told them that South Africa is open for business and it's open for investment. And we were able to convince quite a number of them to invest their money in South Africa. Now, in April, I embarked on an initiative to raise 1.4 trillion rand of investments to come into our country from our local companies and offshore companies. 1.24 trillion rand. Le mali sifuna ukuthi abo abanemali bayilethe apha. Siyayifuna le mali ukuthi izo-investiwa apha eSouth Africa. Enye yayo ndiyifuna apha mna e-Eastern Cape. Izawusebenzela nini? Ukwenzela ntoni na? Ukwenzela ukuthi sizokwakha imisebenzi, sizokwakha i-factory, kwenzela ukuthi sizo-improve i-agriculture yethu. Sendivile ke ngoku nge-stimulus package lezayo ngoku apha. Sifuna ukuthi ewe i-stimulus package sivakale ukuthi silapha uma senza yonke le misebenzi. Sifuna ukuthi abantu bakuthi bakwazi ukulima, kube nama-tractor siwalethe apha azokwazi ukusebenzela umphakathi kuwo wonke ama-districts alapha. Sesiqale ngama-districts ayi-4. Ndifuna ukuthi all the districts here in the Eastern Cape and indeed throughout the country, we must bring investments, investors, and improve our agricultural production. We must bring them tractors here, we must bring the implements here, and we must support our local farmers so that they can farm the land. Yona into esifuna. So this progress that we want to see is a progress that we want to see as inclusive. Asifuni ukuthi le progress ibe progress yabantu abathize kuphela, abantu abanamagama athize. Sifuna bonke abantu balapha e-Eastern Cape. They must feel the progress that is going to happen here in the Eastern Cape. Now, this is the same journey that we have embarked upon throughout the country. The Stimulus Initiative is an attempt to boost economy yethu, to make sure ukuthi those investors who've also committed, as they told us at the investment conference, to commit 290 billion rands in new investments in our country. We want to see that happening, and I want to see a portion of that coming here in the Eastern Cape, because the Eastern Cape needs the investment. So Bantu Bakuthi, today, on the day of reconciliation, we are pivoting this process of reconciliation, not just on hugging each other and telling each other that we love each other and how beautiful we all are, and we have a beautiful flag and all that. We are saying reconciliation must be about reducing poverty, eliminating inequality, and also reducing unemployment amongst our people. We want the progress of reconciliation to be real, that our people must feel ukuthi i-reconciliation nyani bayakwazi ukuthi bayibone, bayiphathe ngesandla, bayive ngenyani ukuthi ikhona na. That is the type of reconciliation we want. But today, as South Africans, let us be proud that we as a nation have embarked on a journey to reconcile amongst ourselves. We have embarked on a journey as a nation to do the right thing and make sure that the reconciliation that we have is the reconciliation that will lead to creation of jobs, reducing inequality, as well as reducing unemployment. On this day, let us commit ourselves once more to the ideal that Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela and Albertina Sisulu committed themselves to. A South Africa that is united, a South Africa that is democratic, a South Africa that is free, a South Africa that is indivisible, and a South Africa that is moving towards progress, that is non-sexist and non-racial. Let us recommit ourselves to this type of South Africa. Ngoba kule South Africa esikuyo ngoku sihambela phambili. We are moving forward ngoba izinto zijikile, ziyajika every day. Zizawujika izinto ngenyani. Ndiyabulela. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, President. Can we have another round of